Hi guys, I thought I'd make this video where I react to Destiny reacting to somebody else.
This is what Trump is like, okay? Trump is a guy named Hibbler, and Hibbler comes out and he's like, we're gonna deal with these Jews, okay? We're gonna round them up, we're gonna deal with them. And after 5 years of death camps, Hibbler has killed like 2,000 Jews. Like, he's not even good at what he does. Like, imagine if the Holocaust was like 2 families. Like, that's like Trump's everything.
Okay, we start out strong.
Probably one of the biggest modern problems that we have is that basically like people's performative empathy ends up creating problems for other people instead of the people that they're being empathetic towards. So they're basically trying to make themselves feel good by helping one group of people, but in the process of that, they're hurting another group of people instead. So I view it as like concentric circles. And so obviously it's good to have empathy for everyone, but you should prioritize people in your country first. And so whenever you make a decision based off of those concentric circles that we all know to be true, like, you know, you'd be more likely to make a decision in the best interest of your parent. Like, you know, you'd be more likely to make a decision in the best interest of your parent.
I wonder if that's because obviously it's taken out of like as a clip. I wonder if that is something that could be in reference to you take care of your own first, then you look after others. Because I feel like that a lot of people have villainized the president of the United States of America for wanting to take care of their own first. I think that itself is fine. Looking after your own citizens should come before looking after citizens of another country. But let's continue.
More than maybe a friend, you know, you would hope, right? And more in the interest of a friend than an acquaintance, and more in the interest of an acquaintance than a stranger. And so all of this exists in kind of a logic. There's like a logical structure of this that everybody acknowledges to be true on a personal level. But the moment that you extrapolate this to a group level, somehow we're supposed to pretend like it doesn't exist. I don't think that's a good way of looking at things. And I know that, like, for me, a lot of people that talk about this, you know, like they try to worry about the optics. I don't mince my words about it at all. I think that if you come here and have a kid, I think the entire family should get deported, period. That's it.
I'm not sure how I feel about that one. I think that the idea of having a child to stay in a country is something that should not be done. You should go down the complete legal pathway of importing into a country or amalgamating into a country. Having a kid to try and stay in a country does not seem like the right move. But having the whole family deported, I think, would be a case-by-case situation more than anything.
Okay.
No exceptions, no, but what abouts, no, but it's bad over there. I literally don't care, even for, like, it's not even 1%. And it's not because I don't care about them.
He's doing a really, really interesting thing here. It's related to that one, like, fallacy, I guess you'd say, to where like like a black guy walks into a place and you just scream the N-word at him. You're like, bro, what's going on? And you're like, well, unfortunately, sometimes in society, like, people can be racist for all sorts of really dumb reasons, and they think it's acceptable to, like, you know, just like scream slurs at people. And it's like, yeah, I understand you're describing that. You're making it sound like an unfortunate byproduct of other things, but like, you're doing it. So what? Why? I don't understand what just happened there. I don't understand what that explanation was to me, because it sounds like you're giving an explanation for how people can fall into this fallible thing, but then you're like actively doing it. He just gave this whole explanation, which I agree with 100%, by the way. Naturally, we do extend empathy to people that are closer to us in a variety of ways, like both.
Yeah, I'm glad he agrees with that, because, like, I think that realistically that makes sense. Like, countries should be formed that way, families should be formed that way. You should really extend empathy towards the people who are closest to you. But the reality of the situation is that people do exploit these systems, unfortunately, which is why the visa processes become so complicated and so hard.
Both, like, physically, familially, ontologically, we're more likely to feel sympathy for people, you know, who are probably similar race, a similar set of values, similar language, similar country, you know, geographically, people in our states, neighborhoods, right? This is true. But I think that's like 70-30. I think it's like probably not good. And then 30% is actually like understandable and probably noble. Like I would expect an ordinary person, given the opportunity to save one child or another child, I would expect them to always save their child, right? Just full stop, period. But like given the opportunity to save their child or 3 other children, the morally good thing would probably be maybe to save the 3 other children, but I would
Well, it's interesting that it's gone into a trolley debate.
understand them saving their child, right? But it's like an understandable fault or something. I don't know how you call it a fault. I don't know how you would describe that. So Asmongold lays out this whole set of circles of how we care about people. We extend empathy more to people that are close to us. Descriptively, this is true. But then he walks out this huge prescriptive statement of, that's why if anybody comes here and has a single child, deport the entire goddamn family. It's like, whoa, hold on. You're describing this not like it's a descriptive reality, but like this is like the morally righteous way to function in society. That's a little bit up, right? It's like saying, it would be the equivalent of saying, it's very easy for us to empathize with people around us. It's very easy for us not to think or consider, you know, the well-being in people who are far from us. This is what makes slave labor such an easy thing to tolerate when it's in other countries, because the slavery is not right around us. And that's why I make sure that whenever I buy stuff made by slave labor, it's always from a country that I'll never visit. And that way I never have to look at them. So I can just buy all the slave-produced goods possible, but I don't have to actually look at them ever. So it's okay. It's like, wait. It sounded like you were describing that as like a kind of like a bad thing, like a bad human moral intuition or something. But now it sounds like you're actually saying it's like you're telling people that it's a way to live. The way he just described all this and then gave that prescriptive statement at the end there was like wild.
Entire family should.
I don't disagree. I think that being thrown in there the way that he said it was unfortunate, but I also think that there is a little bit of truth to it as well. It's a grey area because the problem is with illegal immigrants and people who have exploited the system, there are a lot of issues. But then there are people who are legitimate cases that also may be thrown into this grey area. It's a lot complicated. It's a lot more complex.
Should get deported, period. That's it. No exceptions, no, but what abouts, no, but it's bad over there. I literally don't care even for, like, it's not even 1%. And it's not because I don't care about them. It's that I care about the people here more. And I want to do what's in their best interest. And when I allow people to exploit my systems
like one of the problems too with Asmongold.
Before he goes into that, I just want to say that in terms of people coming in and exploiting the systems, I think there's a conversation to be had for the people who have been exploited in certain countries that will go back to harm's way. But I think that there's also a huge amount of people who exploit the system, and that is where the problem lies, because it's a complicated situation if you have to balance out the protection of your citizens versus the compassion of people who are in need, because it is all down to the fundamentals of a trolley exercise. You have to pick either your citizens or non-citizens that are in need, allowing the risk of terrorists and all of this other bad stuff coming into the country. And that's where the debate lies, because I think that there are points on both sides, which is why I'm sort of on the fence with this situation.
And the way that he's thinking here, because I don't even, it's hard, it truly is hard to know how much of it is like audience capture versus you know, whatever other million things could be going on. But like Asmongold's thought process here, we would say is valid but maybe not sound, right? Assuming the premises of his argument are true here, I mean, his conclusion is correct. If it was the case that people were coming to the country, stealing from us, making the whole place worse off, destroying our labor markets, making everything, destroying the culture and everything, then I can actually, I mean, the conclusion kind of logically follows. Yeah, you should just deport literally all of them, of course.
So this is why it becomes a gray area, because if you deport everybody, you are deporting the people who are innocent as well. And is it okay to deport people who are innocent, or should you really be deporting only those that are bad? But then how do you know who is bad and who's not? Like, I think that there is no answer really that is good. Everything's on a spectrum.
So like the theory is correct, but the factual foundation of a lot of the things are just not right, which is, I think, one of the more frustrating things sometimes. But then the issue is when you push them on the facts, they seem unwilling or unable to engage, which makes you think, well, hold on, maybe there's more at work here than what you're saying. I don't know.
Exploit my country to take advantage of it at the expense of other people. What I'm effectively doing is I am weaponizing my
Making me the LGBT book ban SCOTUS edition. How many pages is it?
empathy to make myself feel good at the expense of people who should be, my countrymen. And I think that's the wrong perspective to have.
135, I'm good.
I think it's very unfair. And a lot of people, this is a big problem with leadership. It's a big problem with decision making. And this is why anytime somebody is a huge asshole, I'm usually a big fan of them, because I think to myself, maybe we'll finally have somebody who's willing to do what it takes.
A really big consensus that has been occurring through me talking to certain individuals in my life has been that they like that Donald Trump does actions. Now, whether or not he's a good or bad person for the job, I cannot attest to that. I'm not qualified to know that. But what I can say is that the main consensus of people around me is that they like that he is an action man and he's willing to take risks. I think that that's an interesting take in itself.
Because a lot of times there are, like in life, there are a lot of trolley problems where you're choosing a lesser evil or a greater evil. And the people who are afraid of that end up allowing both evils to happen. Or they end up choosing the greater evil, but because the lesser evil is more immediate.
Trump just sucks at all of this.
So before we go into what he's about to say, I want to say I do agree with Asim that bit. I think that really it is making sense that like people who do not act will, or people who take the quick route, do pick the greater of all evils, or risk that at least. So I think that there is some truth to what he's saying there in terms of how society reacts to these kind of situations. But yeah.
It's just what I don't understand about people that support Trump. Imagine this is what Trump is like, okay? Trump is a guy named Hibbler, okay? You're in a country, you think Jews took your country over, they ruined everything, and finally, you get a brave, strong, anti-Semitic Nazi leader, Hibbler. And Hibbler comes out and he's like, we're gonna deal with these Jews, okay?
Can I say that I don't think we should be conflating the President of the United States of America with that person.
We're gonna round him up, we're gonna deal with him. And then Hibbler sends in the German whatever and does all these raids and all this and after 5 years of death camps, Hibbler has killed like 2,000 Jews. And it's like, bro, come on. We got our brown shirts on and we beat the shit out of liberals and communists for this? 2,000 Jews? Seriously? Like, he's not even good at what he does. Like, imagine if the Holocaust was like 2 families. Like, that's like Trump's everything. Like, it's not even like Trump was, we deported 4 million illegals so far because of all of our work. It's like, we've broken into 7 Home Depots and we kicked out half of the, stocking. I don't think back of house. I don't think they use that in retail. But it's like, he's not good at anything he does. He hasn't even done anything. He's not even good at what he's doing.
That's an interesting point, because I have been saying this to some people, that everybody's complaining about Trump, but it doesn't seem like he's done as many actions as what people think that he has done, from what I've seen. So it seems like there's a lot of semantics and a lot of talking and a lot of this and that and yap and yap and yap and yap. But yeah, really, that's it.
And look at all the trouble that he's causing, like all of the political turmoil, all of the unrest. Like and it's for nothing. It's not like he's doing that in exchange for, yeah, there was a whole bunch of unrest, but he got all these things done on the back of it. Like, it's just like nothing. In a way, that's a good thing, no? I mean, it's good for us, but when you talk to MAGA who attack what you use for news sources, notice how all of them just repeat Trump verbatim. You ought to call that out. It seems like, it seems to be their entire space. Yeah, I don't know if it's just the particular TikTok debate space that I've kind of like, I'm starting to jump into a little bit, or if all of the TikTok debate space is like this, but oh my God, I don't even know how to describe the level of engagement. LLMs, I think, could do better than the conversations, most of the conversations I've had so far. Like when that one guy was like, when I bring up that, first of all, I hate having to Google uncontested facts, okay? Nobody reasonable is saying that Ukraine and Russia, have stopped fighting. That's like not even a contended fact, right?
It's funny because there are a lot of people on TikTok who have said that. So that's why, like, I'm like, ah. Right?
And then for that guy to be like, well, they're still, Russia still bombing Ukraine, give me a source. It's like, okay. And then I don't know if this is on stream, if it was on my screen or not, but I just like Google, like, Ukraine, Russia attack. I think I just Googled this and I clicked news. I'm like, okay, well, here's the first thing from Politico. And the guy didn't even go with the level 1 attack of, oh, you're going to trust Politico, the mainstream media. He went with like the level 0 attack of, oh, you're just going to believe the first thing you see off Google. Like,
I'm going to base my opinion on whatever's going on based on the facts that are being reported by these places. Yes.
You just randomly Googled and the first thing that came up, you believed.
I'm sorry. That hat and that statement.
Right? That's what happened. Don't act like you were like looking into this before. You had no idea.
Is there any?
Hold on. No. First,
I think I was actually truly stunned for like 10 seconds after he said that. I'm like, I don't even know how to respond to that. Right? Like, imagine you're researching some guy's biography and you go to the library, you rent a biography and you open it, and the guy's like, you're gonna trust the first few words you read off some dead trees? And it's like, am I?
Oh my God.
What? What? Yeah, what? I don't know what I'm even supposed to say to that. Oh, and then the guy didn't understand, like, there's like a categorical difference between, what would this even be under? What do I have to study? Some philosophy book, probably. There's a categorical difference between statements of fact and opinions. I don't need philosophy to know that. Because I was like, well, Politico here is reporting these facts, the news about, 17 Ukrainians died. And the guy's like, oh, well, let's say Politico published an article saying Trump was the best president. Would you believe that? And I was like, well, that's an opinion piece.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I feel like it's really easy to find out if something has happened, if a major event has happened. But in terms of opinion pieces, they are different. You shouldn't really compare apples with potatoes.
And it's like, well, isn't it their opinion that 17 people died? And it's like, I mean, strictly speaking, I guess, yeah, but it's not really the same thing. We're not really talking about the same. I don't even know how to respond to this. Wait, well, hold on, Jesus. Oh my God.
It seems like Destiny's discovered TikTok brain rot.
And it's like, yeah, I'm like in an epistemic black hole. And then the, oh God, and then the infallible strategy of, I haven't heard of that. What do you think about Trump going after like all the law firms? I don't know anything about that. Oh, okay. Wouldn't it be technically Politico's opinion on reporting that though? It's not like they're just using no sources, yeah, but it's a different type of, there's some, I don't know if it would be linguistics or whatever. There's some academic branch that would do well that I could borrow language from here, but I don't know it. But there's like these are two different statements. Even if both of these statements were my opinion, I don't know why I'm trying to open up it, saying that I think 7 people died is a different kind of statement than I think jazz is the best genre of music. Even though those are both thoughts that I have, and even though those both might be opinions that I have, I guess, they're speaking about a different type of thing, right? Like one is a material fact that anybody with sensory organs should be able to agree upon, right? Everybody should.
I think that he's right in this factor. Like, Destiny's correct here with the fact that people should be aware that facts and opinions are different, but you should be aware also that media can report falsities as well.
You should be able to look at that. It doesn't require some kind of subjective assessment, like 7 people are dead. Okay. Versus the other kind of thing is a subjective evaluation of or analysis of things that, you know, might require subjective weighting of different things or whatever, right? It's a different kind of statement. Yeah. Oh, Azron, you're actually correct. That's what I should be saying. When I present something and they haven't heard of it, I should just say, oh, okay, well, let's say this was true. Now that I'm telling you this, if it was the case that Donald Trump did these things, don't you think that would be bad? And then see what they say there. Yeah. I love Destiny asking your source. What's your source? My intuition.
Oh, who do you rely on for reporting about Ukraine and Russia? Who do you rely on for your reporting for that?
I just rely on my intuition, basically.
So nothing. Your feelings.
Okay.
You just earlier said that feelings are bad. Intuition is your feelings, right? So you rely on your feelings for it?
Yeah, but it sounds like you're laughing, but this is truly how a lot of these people function. It's how my mom functions. Whenever we would debate, and even now, like she'll circle back to like, Stevie, I know what I saw. I know what I saw. I know what I saw. And what they saw was 24/7 wall-to-wall coverage of right-wing propaganda. And that is what they say. And it truly is their reality. Right? This is why I say, you know, I'd have a little bit of empathy, I guess, but because when I step into these circles and I argue with some of these people, I'm truly coming in and saying the equivalent of like, man landed on Jupiter 30 years ago, and I want you to believe me because I'm a streamer guy. Like, that's the equivalent type of statement. It's like contradicting stuff related to the MAGA narrative. Like, what do you mean? I literally seen Charlie Kirk talk about this on a YouTube video on a college campus, and then Jack Posobiec tweeted about it, and then Donald Trump truthed the exact same thing, and then I saw our vice president and 10 congressmen echo the exact same thing, and then even Fox News, even though they're the mainstream media, has picked it up, and they're saying the exact same thing. And then when I go on all of my social media feeds, I see 50 million combinations of AIs, small-time podcasters, Joe Rogan guests, and all of my friends and family say the same thing, and now I'm talking to this random cuck, and he's saying something completely different. Who the f*** are you, right? That's the level of reality divergence is insane. How do you dismantle a constellation like that? Rehab.
So I get what he's talking about, because media can push falsities out onto the community norm. And I think that a lot of people tend to not realize that the stuff that they could be reading is false, the stuff that they could be listening to is false. The reality of things is that you should take things with critical thinking and a grain of salt. I agree with that part.
Or you ship somebody off into the forest and reprogram their brain. I don't think you can, unironically. I don't know if you can.
Well, I guess that was interesting. Hope you enjoyed me reacting to this Reactception.